Imagine your neighbors, your friends, your employer, and your government labeling you a terrorist. You're a citizen, and you've done nothing wrong, yet you're detained and arrested. You may be deported or sent to a prison or camp far from your home. What would be the effects on you? How would this affect your long-term place in society? What about due process? What if the reason for this was due to fears from the actions of others? On February 19th, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, authorizing the exclusion of any person from any military area at the discretion of the military. Following the order, the government forcibly relocated and incarcerated approximately 120,000 people of Japanese descent, including American citizens, to 10 internment camps in the western interior of the country. These camps were located in desolate areas, often surrounded by barbed wire and guarded by military police. The justification for the internment was based on concerns about national security and the potential espionage or sabotage after the attack on Pearl Harbor. This order stayed in place until President Harry S. Truman signed Executive Order 9742 on June 25th, 1946. Executive Order 9742 ordered the liquidation of the War Relocation Authority and allowed Japanese Americans to return to their homes. The incarceration was a significant blow to the American identity of Japanese Americans, particularly the American-born Nisei, who felt betrayed by the government that they trusted. The harsh conditions and the public humiliation associated with being Japanese, fueled by feelings of humiliation and self-blame, even though they had done nothing to warrant incarceration. Many Japanese Americans suffered harsh treatments after leaving the internment camps. Examples include exclusion from being hired by jobs in the LA County and being shut out by the produce industry, which was the lifeblood of many Japanese Americans prior to World War II. Many interned Japanese Americans sought to demonstrate their patriotism by trying to enlist in the armed services, further highlighting their feelings of injustice and their desire to prove their loyalty to the United States. The War Relocation Authority instituted a questionnaire in 1943 to separate loyal from disloyal Japanese Americans, leading to the segregation of those deemed disloyal at the Tule Lake camp. Despite the overwhelming situation, some Japanese Americans chose to protest and challenge the legality of the internment, with some even defying curfew and taking their cases to the Supreme Court. 3 Japanese Americans, citizens, challenged the constitutionality of the forced relocation and curfew orders through legal actions. Gordon Hirabayashi, Fred Korematsu, and Mitsuye Endo in its 1944 decision, Korematsu versus United States, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the removals under the Due Process Clause of the Fifth Amendment to the United States. Decades later, a congressional commission found that the justification for internment was false, and in 1988, Ronald Reagan signed the Civil Liberties Act, which acknowledged the injustice and mandated reparations for the victims. The act officially apologized for the internment and authorized payments to former detainees. Many of the citizens, after their release, found their homes, their businesses, and farms sold. They were forced to rebuild their lives without the benefits of a social safety net for support. Trump's policy by executive order on immigration is once again placing the United States on the wrong side of history. Legal citizens are being detained at airports under threat of deportation. In some cases, it seems the immigration officials, in an overabundance of sudden efficiency, are managing to put deportees on flights just in time to not receive the court order that would delay the deportation. This week, a Georgetown scholar was detained and accused of spreading Hamas propaganda in the latest battle over speech in the U.S. and on U.S. college campuses. U.S. District Judge Patricia Tolliver-Giles in Alexandria, Virginia, ordered that Indian national Badar Khan Suri shall not be removed from the United States unless and until the court issues a contrary order. Badar Khan Suri, an Indian national, was ordered to remain in the United States by the U.S. District Judge Patricia Tolliver-Giles in Alexandria, Virginia. The judge's order prevents Suri's removal from the country until she issues a subsequent order. According to his attorney, Dr. Suri is an academic, not an activist. Dr. Suri's only crime was that he spoke out on social media about his views on the Israel-Gaza war. Even more so, his wife is an outspoken critic of the Israeli government and the violence it has perpetrated against Palestinians. At the time of filming of this video, federal authorities have provided no evidence that he's committed any crimes and that his detention violates his free speech and due process rights. Surrey, who has no criminal record, holds a visa authorizing him to be in the United States as a visiting scholar, and his wife is a U.S. citizen. According to the motion, this is an intentional weaponization of immigration law to punish and silence naturalized and non-citizens who openly express views critical of the U.S. policy. In this case, it applies to Israel. But there is nothing to stop other views from the same treatment. The authorization for these actions comes straight from the White House. The Trump administration has already openly taken public actions to silence media critical of policy and the president himself. How long until the rest of us are silenced? You have a voice. It's imperative that you don't let anyone silence you. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. Ring the bell for updates.